friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin, and I am just back from another week-long trip for work, and I thought we would do a video. We haven't done a catch-up video showing you kind of where everything is. We've done a lot of projects along the way, so I thought I'd bring you guys along as we kind of walk through everything and see where everything that we've started over the past couple of weeks and months, where it's all at. Give a nice update. So to do that, we're going to start downstairs. So right before I went to leave for my trip, one of my grow lights burned out. It's probably about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, the night before I left, and that really, really sucked. So I was able to put everything under one grow light, and I have since moved everything around. I've been home for just over 24 hours, and this is one of the first places I came to look. Just having one grow light, I had this entire table filled with plants, and I'll take you and show you the plants. I have them in the garage right now. But the problem that I had is I have some plants that are really tall, and then I have others that are really short. So I wasn't able to, oh, look at that. I don't know what's happening there. So I wasn't able to adjust the light based on the plant's height. And so these big tall boys are, this is a tomatillo, this is a I think these are all three tomatillos. Back here I have some tamarillos that you can see desperately should be up potted, but they're just going to go directly into the grounds. Oh, I have one ground cherry that started. I didn't think I was going to have any ground cherry. I have one ground cherry that came up. I didn't think I was going to have any ground cherries, so that's exciting. And then we have one little golden tomato cherry that looks like it just germinated. But I have a lot of peppers. That's basically all I have down here now is just my peppers. And they're looking really good. And then over here, before I left, I started a lot of my flowers. So we have a lot of sunflowers. We have a lot of sunflowers here. And then some squash. My cucumbers just started to come up, and some zinnias. So I moved everything else outside. I'm starting to harden it off. It's still too cold for the peppers. The peppers I want to be, at the night's at least 50 degrees. And right now, even tonight, we're going to have a night this week that gets, I think, to 37. Which, it's actually been abnormal. It's been abnormally warm here. We haven't had a night in the 30s in probably 3 weeks. So, the peppers are definitely not coming out. But my tomatoes and everything, hopefully I might get them hardened off and get them in the ground within the next week. But those sunflowers, I'm actually thinking to myself, I need to bring them up. I need to start hardening them off too, because they can clearly go in the ground. So I have my fig tree. Don't worry, we just got a storm in my grill cover blew off. I got to put that back, but I'm trying to get this video in a break between the storm. But my fig tree is looking great, and then I have my two dahlias here that are ready to go in the ground. These are dahlias we started in pots just from bulbs, and they grew really, really well. So we're going to get them in the ground. And then look at, we really had a storm. This was over on the brush pile to be burned. Let's throw that back away. But look at my orchard, my little itty bitty orchard. So these are my apple trees, and you can see they have filled out really, really well. And then here is one of my peach trees, looking nice. But unfortunately, this one hasn't done anything yet. This one, as you can see, has no leaves. I've been really inspecting that for signs of life, and I've seen nothing. So I need to contact the seller and just ask if I can send this one back and maybe get a new one. But I don't think at this point, it's been over a month, and I don't think at this point that's going to germinate. And here is where I have all of my other plants. So I don't have the best light in here, but this is kind of just where I keep everything while I harden it off. And so I honestly don't know if these are going to live or not. These are my zucchinis that, just again, because of that light, got super, super leggy. Definitely not ideal. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but everything else is looking really good. So we have all of our tomatoes in here. These are all tomatoes as well. Again, sorry for the terrible lighting. It's my garage and it has terrible lighting. But then over here we have a whole bunch of flowers. There's some nasturtiums in the back. I don't even remember what all these are, but some more flowers. And then another dahlia that needs some support at the base, but otherwise, looking really good. So, all of those plants are in the process of getting hardened off. And I'll be honest, one thing I didn't do this year that I normally do is I normally put a fan on my plants, and I keep a fan on them up to 12, 18 hours a day. I didn't do that this year just because I was traveling so much. I just wasn't able to have a fan on. I was lucky that I figured out a light situation for them. So I'm just hardening them off outside. Today was an incredibly windy day. It started off, it was like 85 today, and it's really dropped. It's probably like in the 50s now. It's really dropped. It's much, much colder than it was even 2 hours ago. But I'm just keeping them outside for about an hour. Today, like I said, it was so windy. I kept them outside for an hour and a half, and when I brought them in, they were like about laid over. They've since stood back up. We're just going to do that every day, bring them outside, and then I'm slowly going to start transitioning them from the shade to the direct sun until they've been in the direct sun for a full day, and then they'll go on the ground. So my plan is within the next 2 weeks, all of that will be in this ground, and I'm very excited about it. So let me show you what we have going on in the garden. There's been a lot of growth in the week that I've been gone, and there was a predator. There was a predator in the garden that I gotta tell you about. First, I wanted to share my asparagus. This is asparagus I planted last year. So this asparagus' first year, and I'm leaving most of it. You can see if you come down here. I took this guy here. He was decently sized. You want them to be about as big as a pencil. Oh, right there is one I could take. Oh, right there's one I could take. I'm gonna leave him for now, but I'm having a decently good first crop. There's one. Decently good first crop. So with asparagus, you don't want to take all of it, especially for the first couple years. You want it to really allow it to grow its roots and kind of get itself established. So, especially with that first year, I've taken one asparagus. I might take a handful more, but I will leave the majority of that to go to seed. And with asparagus, it grows literally inches in a day. So much of my asparagus has gone to seed since I've been gone. So I didn't harvest as much as asparagus this year as I normally do. I have a couple other patches that this is their third year, so I can harvest a good amount from them. But they all basically went to seed while I was gone this past week. So I'm hoping they still keep growing and I don't lose it. But I didn't lose other things. Let's show you some other things. These are my peas that we planted just a handful of weeks ago, and you can see they do I did two different varieties, and one variety I don't actually remember which one. I think this was a sugar daddy. I don't quite know, but every pea germinated, and then the other one, which was I think snap peas, none of them germinated. So I kind of just did like a big circle around here, and so one variety is definitely struggling to germinate. I hope that it germinates over time. But at least one has germinated and they're going really good. I need to look back at watch the video to see which ones I planted in the front, and maybe those seeds might need tossed. And to be honest, I won't toss the seeds. I'll throw the seeds in the ground and see if they do anything. Because it's always better at least to throw them in the ground, because then they could have the chance to grow. If you just throw them away, then you definitely know you're not going to get anything from them. So those seeds I need to go back and find. I'm just going to throw them somewhere in this garden and see what happens. And then my lettuce has started to grow. I came in today and I did some weeding because there's a ton of, I don't even know what this is, like grass I guess, that I'm just pulling out. So I pulled out a ton of it. But my lettuce is coming in. And that was a mesclun mix that I planted that you're supposed to, and I really don't do this, and I know other gardeners struggle with this too, but a lot of them, like, they get it together and they do it. I don't do it. I do not, I forget what it's called now, so I put an S. I don't snip my plants though. That's not the word. Trim? No, I forget what the word is, but I don't snip my plants. You're supposed to trim them so you don't have them growing like on each other. Yeah, I don't do that. So my plan is, so I have this bed of mesclun mix, and then let me show you the second bed. My plan is to let these guys kind of get bigger and established, and then I think I'm gonna try to like replant them, like uppot them and then replant them and kind of space them out more. I just don't want to kill plants. So here is my arugula that's coming in really well, along with the dandelion. I missed that guy today in my weed in. I don't know how because he's huge. And then I'm pretty sure over here is mesclun mix as well, which is not coming in as well. But you can see like where it is coming in, I have like clusters of it. So my plan is to let them grow and then see if I can't move them and kind of space them out and make them look nicer. Next year I decided I never started lettuces from seed inside, because you can start from seed outside, no problem. But next year I decided I'm going to start them from seed inside, just because I do like the idea of spacing them out more, growing them, basically for aesthetics. This will grow just fine, and this will give me salad just fine. But I think for aesthetics, I want to space them out. I did buy kale this year, and that has been lovely spaced out. I bought a 6-pack of different types of kale. So I don't even know what kind I have. Curly kale, I think a dino kale, and I think a red kale. But these are looking, well, that one's not looking so great. They are looking pretty good, as are my brassicas in my brassica bed. So some of these have gotten really, really big. Like that guy has gotten big. And then that guy's gotten really big. Some of my cavities are starting to take off. So some things are really kind of starting to take off. Got a planter there I gotta go get. But that bed is looking nice. And then my Brussels sprouts, there's really been no change other than they are still alive. I was nervous that I planted them so close to the fence that they would die. And you can really, you can hardly not see them. This is embarrassing, but I'm going to explain, I think, why I don't think it's embarrassing. Let me show you, and then I'll explain. So that is the biggest Brussels sprouts that I had, and then they were really small. They needed to be up-potted. That's the second biggest. I think they just kind of got smaller as time went on. That one has gotten actually pretty big. And then that one there, which you can hardly see right there, is the smallest. But if we take a look at all of that. It's just dandelions that have gone to seed. Let's talk about dandelions really quickly. I have a ton of dandelions. I don't have a ton of dandelions in my garden, but I have a good amount of dandelions in my garden, and the ones I have are huge. However, I am going to come and I am going to dig those dandelions out, but I know that I'm not going to get the whole root, and I'm okay with that. So I like the benefits of dandelions for two things. One, they feed the bees. I have a ton of dandelions across my property, and I have seen so many bees. And so as someone who needs bees to garden and to live, I am very happy that the bees are around. See, like, look at this guy. That guy is absolutely massive. Like, that would make a heck of a dandelion salad. So, I leave them, one, to the bees. Two, I like that they look pretty. Like, otherwise, a green and brown garden, they add pops of yellow, which I do like. Third, I think I'm on the third reason. The third reason I'm leaving the dandelions is because in the garden, the dandelions are safe, which means when I want to make my dandelion honey, my dandelion jam, I know I can use the dandelions from my garden that no animal has peed on them. You know, the rest of the yard may not be so safe, but I know in the garden, no animals get in here and peeing on them. And I do like to make dandelion honey and dandelion jam. So it is a kind of a crop. It's a weed, but it is a useful crop to me, and I do use it. I don't need dandelion jam this year. I haven't used it that much. I need to use it more. It was such a time-consuming labor of love to make the dandelion jam, but I think I'm kind of like babying it. But I really kind of need to use it up because I've made it and I used it. But having the dandelions grow in the garden, I'm actually not upset about. And that might be like an unpopular opinion, because they currently look ugly now. They've gone to seed, look terrible, but I'm not upset about that. Another thing I'm not upset about is this garden tower. You want to see the surprise? Right here is my first strawberry flower. And then I have another one somewhere, oh, right here. So this tower has obviously done really, really good. It's been about, I think it's been 3 weeks. I don't think it's been a day more than 3 weeks since I planted this thing. And almost every strawberry, I think there's one that didn't come back. Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's one that didn't come back. They greened up the next day. I put them in, watered them, they greened up the next day, and they already have flowers on them. So I'm so excited. So the variety I got is an Everbearing. I love Everbearing strawberries. That means they bloom and give you fruit all summer. So I am so excited for these. And then my plan is, strawberries put off runners. I'm going to take the runners and I'm going to buy a second tower to go on the opposite side of this gate. And I'm going to fill that tower up with the runners from this year. I don't quite know how that's going to work. But we're going to try it. I have a plan. We're going to try it. And that way I could fill a second tower, hopefully for free. I still have the problem that I don't know how I'm going to overwinter these things, but that is a problem for September Caitlin, October Caitlin, not for May Caitlin, or April, so not for April Caitlin. But so I am so excited for this tower, because that means we're going to have strawberries coming in soon, and I have so many plans for strawberries this year. My number one plan being, I'm going to try to make strawberry cider / strawberry wine. I have a recipe for it, and I'm going to try it. I'm so excited. Another thing I'm so excited for is this new bed. Look how big this bed is. So this was a bed that I built a couple years ago that rotted. And I say I built it a couple years ago. I think I built it like 2 years ago, and it rotted. So I tasked my dad with the task of making me a new bed. It was smaller than that one. It was skinnier than that one. And I told him I wanted to be, it was probably much skinnier than that one. There's the boards right now that need to be burned. But it was much skinnier than that one. So I said I wanted it to be that size. And he came back with this monstrosity. And I could not be more excited. So this is going to be my onion bed this year. My plan was to have this bed and that bed be my onion bed. But we're honestly going to see. Because this bed is so big, I think I could possibly plant all of my onions in here. I did order my onions today. They'll be here in 2 weeks. So that's when this bed will get planted with onions. So what that means is if this bed holds my onions, that means I've gained a whole other bed that I can put something in. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but I can put something else in it. And then I think that's about it. There's nothing else that's really been going on out here. I have just about one more wagon load of dirt left from my topsoil delivery that I have to move. I don't know where I want to put it yet, so I kind of got to figure out where I want to put it. And then this week I'm going to order my chip drop delivery, and then we're going to get the wood chips out on the paths and try to get a good handle on these weeds. Lots of weeds. So we're going to get a good handle on that and get mulching up around the house. And I have a couple projects on the house we're going to do together, but we're in a good place. It's the beginning of April. We have a lot of stuff in the ground. I didn't show you my potatoes because my potatoes have done nothing yet, but that's only been a week, so I'm not worried about that. But before I go inside and show you a couple of things going on inside that I forgot about, I want to tell you what happened to my poor little bunny. This little baby had a bad day. There was a fox. We had a fox. So I live in town, but it's still not unusual for foxes or for wildlife to come through. I've had turkeys here, I've had raccoons, I've had possums, never had a fox. Now I had a fox. And my cameras caught the fox at like 2 in the morning, and it all but made a beeline for Miss Fig's cage. Thank the good Lord, her cage, knock on wood, I'm gonna knock on wood before I say this, is predator proof. The fox obviously did not get her. However, I think he tried for a good while. I don't have video camera footage down there. My camera doesn't go that far. But she has been incredibly scared ever since then. My mom was taking care of her. I told my mom first thing in the morning, there's a fox. Can you go down and make sure Miss Fig is okay? They came down, they said she's fine, but she doesn't come down like out of her hutch anymore. She hasn't been interested like in leaving her the top of her hutch. So that really sucks. So I have a banana. I'm gonna go try to lure her with a banana off camera then, and see if I can't get her to feel more comfortable. It's probably been 3 days since the fox. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if like he actively went to her hutch and like was able to get in the garden at her, or if they just smelled each other. I don't know, but that's really unfortunate. So I'm thankful she's okay. I'm thankful the hutch did what it was supposed to do. It protected her, but she is frightened. So that sucked coming home too. That really sucked because normally she's it's all about the pets and the cuddles. Maybe not so much the cuddles, but she's all about the pets, and she's not about the pets. So that really stinks. So I'm gonna build up her confidence again. Haven't seen the fox again, and I live in town, so I don't think the fox is a regular occurrence. I think when he realized he couldn't get her as a meal, he left, and I don't expect him to come back, but still, gotta build up Miss Fig's confidence. The last thing I'm gonna show you is my sweet potatoes. Now I do not know what happened, but they were basically a failure. So these are what the sweet potatoes are supposed to do. And I have two doing it. This is called a slip. I could pop this slip off and put it into its own jar of water and it will grow roots. You can see my potato has grown roots. And you can see so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slips growing on this one. But the rest of mine, for whatever reason, I don't know why, did not do anything. This one has just started to grow roots, and it is growing its first slip, but only one so far. But I don't know why none of the rest have grown roots. I moved them up to the windowsills because they weren't doing anything downstairs, but they're still not doing anything up here. I have a knife holding this one because the toothpick broke and I was in a lazy mood. If I put them on the windowsills, it would work better. Clearly it has not. So this is only my second year doing this. And the first year I had great success. Every single sweet potato did what it was supposed to do. They all grew roots and grew slips. So I have no idea what I did wrong, why they didn't grow slips. I have no idea. So that really kind of sucks. Means I'm going to have to buy sweet potato slips this year. Not ideal, but it is what it is. And then the last thing that we started when we started the sweet potato slips, which I didn't think was going to work, and it didn't, was to start blueberry plants from blueberries. Surprise, surprise, that did not do anything. I didn't think it would, but I thought it'd be a fun experiment. But now we know it does not work. So everything seems to have fared well while I was gone. I work 3 days this week. The next 2 weeks I work 3 days and I'm off for 4 each week. So that means I have tons and tons and tons of planting to do. I have all of my trees that have to be moved outside, lemon trees, lime trees. I have bulbs, gladiolus bulbs have to go in the ground. My canna bulbs have to go in the ground. There's a lot of planting that's going to be happening over the course of the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned. We're going to get the garden in. We're going to get flowers planted. And we're going to have just a really, really good time getting outside, getting that sun on our skin, and making this place look really beautiful. I did just mow and trim today. Well, my dad mows the yard. I mow the small things that the big tractor can't reach, and then I trim it. So we got that done today. I think it looks so nice. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but still, I think it looks so nicely, freshly mowed. I know it's not much, but I like to stand here and like look at my backyard because while it is in town, I think I've done a lot to make this backyard like a really productive, pretty homestead. So I'm really excited, and I have more ideas on things I'm going to add to this homestead to make it even more productive. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun year. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.